do some com checks. Com check, com check, com check. Com check. All my widgets are giving me not yet authorized to connect. That's not the way we do things nicely. And one final com check for Twitch. I usually say Drachenfang, or Drachenfang if I feel very, very German. Depends on how much bratwurst I've eaten that evening. All depends. Let's do a quick Twitch com check. Check. And Twitch is working. Yep, it's my new streaming com check stuff. Hello, Dante's Pirate. How we doing? For some reason, Twitch is not working on the multi-chat thing. No problem, Dave. It's not usually a big deal. Alright, cool. So it looks like we're in good shape. Alright, let's get started. I think we're all gathering our Halloween supplies, Dantes. I know I'm starting to look at how much cash can I blow on things. And hello, Kay Hardenberg Cornell. Unfortunately, I'm not 100% sure what your first name is on there, but hello, no matter what the case. Whee! And hello, Ross. I have a ton of projects I'm really psyched for. I can't wait to get the video for this guy going, and that is going to be one of the primary tasks for this evening. I figured it was a Karen, but I didn't want to guess. Thank you, Karen Hardenberg / Cordell. Expanding foam is a very nice pawn trick and tool. I still love my mache, though. Love it. All right. Okay, the last attempt at making a smoother clay, I think this was a success. I really think we got some absolutely beautiful smoothness out of this. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that if you want a smooth clay, one of the factors is to not overwater it. Really let it be thick. What I'm doing today, though, is I over-glued this mix. So there's a lot more glue in here than I would normally put. So I'm going to see if that's got an effect on it, too. I think by the end of this pumpkin, we're going to have the clay code cracked, hence my naming for this this little day's escapade. This may be a slightly shorter stream, just because today was the first day of school with students, and we're all a little French fried if you're a teacher locally. Damn, Nantes, you're going all out. Super all out. That's cool. Hey, yeah, how we doing? I'm going to do a temporary mute so you guys don't have to listen to the roar of the mixer. Just be for a few moments. Okay. Weird. Wow. All right. I added too much glue to this on purpose to see how that would affect it. And the external of the clay was really just tacky, even though it's at the right consistency. This is a very sticky clay. I mean, obviously I added too much glue to it for a reason, but I did not expect it to be that strangely sticky. All right, coming back to my monitoring. Sorry for the interlude. All right. Okay, so let's do. Hey, hello, Stevenson. Hello, Berlina. Good to see you. Cobbs One Candlesticks. Good to see you again. And Dante's Pirate is going to be making props for next year's haunted house. Some zombies, yeah. 2 props a week to 3 a week. Oh my God. Well, you have a far more ambitious schedule than I usually do, Dante's. Yep, we dremeled out Crazy Eyes, and we cut out Scully Boy completely. And today is sculpting on the face for this guy for the video, and doing a little bit more clay experimentation. As usual, I made too much clay. God damn it! But adding making the sauce for the clay very thick has helped out the smoothing phase. This one has thick sauce and too much glue. So we're going to see if we can really lock down a recipe that gets you the smoothest clay. So we're going to go for super smooth. We better do some recording for the pumpkin video. Alright, he's centered. I can't wait to make this tutorial. Oh. You can save your clay in a baggie, absolutely. In fact, I have last time's clay in a bunch of foam here, but it's been 2 days, so hopefully this isn't too funky. Oh yeah, this is fine. Just need a little kneading. Don't think I'm surprised. Well, I'm not too surprised. I know the foam definitely does have to get itself set. Alright, that's actually really well preserved, come to think of it. As much as I should use it, I may save this for some of those stems, because I really want to utilize this on that one. I haven't really found a quicker foam, but I'm not a huge utilizer of foam. I'm a huge papier-mâché personage. I have seen unicorn spit. Yeah, unicorn spit is an interesting product. It gets all super colory. I actually saw an ad for it on Facebook, which was wonderful yet disheartening, because all the Facebook things tend to be lots of scams on Facebook. All right, video, record. Let's talk to the camera for a sec. Let's get pretty. All right, and let's adjust his face here. All the texturing's done, and now it's time for the fun part. It's time for the sculpt. We're going to take a lot of the 3D, we're going to take the advantage of paper mache, and we're going to get 3D projections out on this guy's face. Let's, however, take just a quick look at some of the texture that arose, so you can see just how pumpkin-like it is. So it's a fairly good facsimile. It is, of course, a little bit round to be a pumpkin, but that's one of the drawbacks of using the beach ball model. So today is finally the fun part. And I am going to go sculpt happy on this guy. Well, mache Dante's really depends on the project that you want to do. A large prop with mache will probably take you more time, just because of the slow and occasionally ponderous drying speed. I'm liking this guy, Chris. I'm liking this guy. But let's, today we have experimental clay to see if we can find the ultimate in smooth. And honestly, one of the things I'm planning on trying at some point is using a foam core, but a clay external. Because foam bulks you up beautifully and fast, but I like the detail and effects I can get on surfaces with mache. The other things that can be used in place of the insulation are any kind of just absolutely like chop suey paper. You can take newspaper, put it in a blender. Toilet paper is some of the best, honestly. Yeah. That's one of the things I was kind of worried about. That thing reset. Dante, could you copy and paste that same thing you just said again? One of my little things is blocking the entirety of what you posted. And I want to make sure I read it all. Yeah, egg crates are great. Cardboard for mashing. You just want any kind of foam fluff. Thank you, Dantes. I appreciate that. That is true. Plaster carving will get you quite a bit of wonderful details. But honestly, if you need the foam insulation, just getting any kind of paper product and mulching it will get you the fluff or equivalent fluff. So, Scooby brush, Scooby brush. I like the feel of this clay. I'm really curious to see how it smooths. Well, depending on how you feel, Linda, you can always just add a cap full of pine saw. I mean, the mold's usually just hazardous to you, but you're not actually eating it. And unless you've got an allergy or are really worried about spores, you can just mulch it back into your clay pile. Stuff is forming very well. Just gotta remember, when it dries out, who the hell cares? It's not gonna continue to mold once it's dry. Alright, that'll be a good starting bridge for eyebrows. And some nose. Yeah, clay will do that, so don't worry about it. As long as you're not hugely panicky, it's not a big deal. Or you don't have allergies or have to worry about, things like that. The salt will definitely help, yes, in terms of preservation and killing off some of the mold that's already there. Don't go down that far. Just want to accentuate the nose. And hopefully this weekend I'll get some time to start the stem. I still need to take the footage downstairs and unload it onto the computer. But I had 11 hours of recording, and I have another memory stick up here, so if that thing beeps, I can just stop and swap. Won't be too bad. God, mine's like Go Green or something. They certainly seem to keep the brand in flux. I'll give them that. But it's also depending on who makes the fiber near you, because depending on what hardware store you go to, they may carry different versions of it. Yeah. Mold on paper clay will always look marginally gross. In fact, when has mold ever looked good? Maybe if you got a really bad infection, you're making your own penicillin. I do know that in certain parts of the world it's very difficult to come across the fiber insulation unless you're really hunting. And you gotta call around, call your suppliers, call your hardware stores, and not be afraid. Thank you very much, Katie. I appreciate that. That will be going to feed the dwindling supplies of joint compound. Thank you, thank you. Alright, and now the big question is, do we have that be just a bar? Or do we try to slope it down? And the great thing is we don't have to decide now, because this can all be foundation that can be built upon. Such a nice... I couldn't believe how well today went. It was nice to be the equivalent of a sub in my own classroom. Yep, I get from Lowe's as well, just because they're really close. Yep, it's all the same. As long as it's cellulose insulation, it's the stuff. Yeah, that it can be a definite problem. The Lowe's stuff that I've got definitely has plastic bits in it. I am lucky that my mixer does a great job of snagging them on the beaters and almost pounds them out, quite frankly, which is lovely. Let's make this tooth bigger. Why should I be afraid of this monster if it has tiny teeth? No idea what I'm going to do with that tooth, though, but for the moment, I'm just going to make it bigger. Oh, roly polies. Oh. This tooth here should also be bigger. Shit, that one. All my pointy teeth should be a little bit bigger. I think I've only ever bought like 3 bales of this stuff. Maybe 2 for me and 1 for school. And that's been it. Haven't needed to, there's a plastic piece in mine, which is causing some deformation. But once you yoink the plastic out, it's pretty good. Nice. Yep, that's also a very effective strategy. This is a strange shaped tooth. It's almost rounder. A bit more snugged. Okay. Now over here. There's the little vampire tooth. I know what I should do with these teeth. We should take them up. That can happen sometimes. Witchwood on a pumpkin. Witchwood simulates wood very well, but not always vine. Ooh, I like that. That could be good. I only have witchwood on my sentinels and those 3 little mini pumpkins up there. I might just hyper accentuate all these teeth. God, I'm just so chill right now. This is great. Just tomorrow is also going to be a comparatively easy school day. For me, at least. But then next week it's going to get nice and challenging. And that will also be fun. Okay, I'm liking that so far. So that means that this tooth needs to come up, and this tooth needs to come up. That's also beautiful because that will use up clay. Have a good one, cobwebs and candlesticks. Have a safe drive. Make that thinner and longer. Let's make sure we don't go too thick, because if we go too thick, then the clay will not dry well. I'm really thinking this might be the ultra clay. We'll see how it responds. The one behind here is the skull face pumpkin. He's just getting his stem. So let's see. Ooh, yeah, it's getting spooky. Nice. Loving it. Yeah, that was a fun one to assemble. It's based on the game Sea of Thieves skeletons. I wanted something that really mimicked their profile, because they've got a great hideous look to them, which is they're a very, very fearsome and snarly. But I didn't want to copy them. Just wanted something that had their flavor. So, chunky tooth. Yeah. I wonder if I should do tiny. Let's check on tiny tooth here. Tiny tooth. Should we take tiny tooth vertically? It sort of works. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, it's the. I can't believe the guy's name isn't popping into my head very immediately. It's the guy who did the painting. With big hair. Ron something. Bob Ross? Yeah, I think it was Bob Ross. It's a variant of painting with Bob Ross. Instead of happy little clouds, it's scary little teeth. I don't know why the name was jumping out of my head. Usually I know Bob Ross. Getting old. It's wonderful. I get to tell kids to get off my lawn. It's so much fun. Alright, do I like that? Not hugely, but you know, it's not going to matter, and I'd rather have something on that tooth than nothing, and it sticks out, so that's fine. I got another tiny little tooth over here. And to think, earlier I was lying in bed thinking, I'll just go to bed now. It's, nope, nope, get your ass up, do some stuff. And now I'm just so relaxed. So if you're tired now, you'll be even more tired after you finish. And that'll be good because you go to sleep fast. So get your ass up and get doing some sculpting. Want that to lean into the eye ever so slightly. Okay. Alright, that is a much happier, chunkier frame. Alright. I wish I had more depth in that spot, but I could cut it out, I suppose. So long as you recognize that point where doing minor work won't be really to anyone's benefit, either yours or your project's, I think you got it just fine. Never obsess about the minutia if you can. Let's just tip this up. Keep it in line with the groove. Make this a J. Olson tribute pumpkin. Most of his guys have really big teeth that go up vertically. I don't like that. I don't like that. This needs to be smaller and scale up. And also cock out to the side a little bit. Better, sort of. Close enough, you know what? On Halloween night, nobody's going to obsess about it. Only I will obsess about it, and I choose not to obsess about it that much. That's awesome, Cheryl. If I had kids, I would try to get them into this as well. So many cool things to do. Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. The eyes are going to need more bulking, but I don't want to go bigger right now, because that's a large lump that'll need to dry. I think it's time to talk at the camera for a little bit, and then we'll do some texturing. I have enough clay to work on stems for both. I'm trying to, still a lot of clay though. Let's Let's see what this looks like. Take this eye and don't just follow the curve. Sort of follow the curve, but alright, that's meaner. Good. I like meaner. Let's also try taking the brow a little bit back further. Meaner is more better on some pumpkins. Though I told my mom I'd make her one, and she's a pediatrician, so that one's going to have to be a lot nicer. We'll make a nice, happy one for her, so her kids don't get, or her patients don't get freaked out by it. Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that. So this comes up and over and make this longer, even if it goes into the trench a bit. And give this more clay on top, because that should be thin enough that the bulking will still dry. And then we'll have to do a second layer when that does dry, because I don't want to add any more on top, nor do I want to make it thinner. I don't like that, but it gives it plenty of extra chutzpah. All right. I could probably also do a full clay stem on him, and it won't hurt to give myself a foundation now. For just a pop-up one. It's got an okay profile. Alright, I'm going to talk to the camera for a few moments. One difficulty with this new method is that we've got all this beautiful pumpkin texture on our surface, and if you add clay to bulk up your details, it looks really good if you can carry that texture on there. So, for instance, I've got these big old chunky eyebrows, but my pumpkin lines don't continue down through them. So I want to rectify that personally. Do you have to? No. Do people really care on Halloween night? Will they stop and stare at your stuff and say it's awful because you didn't do that? No, they won't. But I just think it'll look a whole lot better if I carry on my texturing down in. So, as with all the stuff I've done so far, I'm going to give it a smooth, and I'm going to saturate it with paste as much as I can from both directions. I want to make sure this has maybe not like ending smoothness, but I don't want this to be lumpy clay right out of my mix either. Alright, I've added my smoothing fluid here, and all I'm going to do is use whatever tools I possibly can to keep these grooves that I took so much time and effort going into my clay and keep them there so that the lines continue. Alright, I've just made it very, very sticky as well, so I'm going to resort to some sculpting tools because I have them. And the other thing that I'm going to use with my sculpting tools, I'm going to test out some of these silicone headed ones, which ideally nothing should stick to. So I'm going to try to keep the lines that I made there. In fact, let's grab a few more tools over here to work the lines in. That works friggin' beautifully. Oh my God, that's awesome. Okay. Alright, I dislike advocating tools that not everybody has in the house, but if your clay is sticky and you find you're having trouble, some of these silicone sculpting tools that don't stick to anything are rather nice. But here's a rough of what I just did to that eyebrow. I took my ridges and I brought them right down and onto the eyebrow section. And now I'm going to take a small loose brush and I'm going to just cover it over with the sauce and get that smoothed right down.
There's my relatively smooth lines. I'm not going to go crazy trying to make them super smooth, because right now if I don't like the finish, what we'll do is we'll add a little bit of paper clay on top and we'll smooth that layer on top of the surface of this. So there's the first roll through. We'll see how it looks after it dries. If I like it, I'll keep it. If not, I'll add some more. And otherwise, I'm just going to go through here and I'm going to find all my other extension lines and I'm going to put them into the clay. Oh yeah, and I'll finger smooth when I think I need to. I'm hoping this clay is the super smooth stuff that it should be. Okay, for those of you who are on the live, get these friggin' tools. Holy crap. I will never recommend people get stuff in a regular tutorial video, but god damn, it's just making my life so easy. And it can make your life easy too, for only $49.95. I got them from Amazon, 10 bucks. Silicone sculpting tools. And it's making these deep lines really nice, because with the pencil, the problem was, of course, that clay sticks to the pencil, but clay doesn't stick to silicone, so. This is making things very much easier. I may actually have to recommend these in the tutorial video. Because if they're that much of a help, people should at least be aware of them. It's one of those, not mandatory, but certainly makes things easier. And it's certainly not like they're super expensive. This one's going to make the finger smooth. Got that all day with a brush. And speed it up. Oh, hey. A classic bowl rim injury. Ta-da! Fixed.
Almost there. Let's do the last section. Oh, no, there's still one on the nose. Tackiness of the glue is returning, which is kind of an unintended consequence. Doesn't really affect things, but it's interesting to see that as soon as more moisture seems to be getting on the surface of the clay, the tackiness of the glue is rebounding in force. Okay, so here is our textured addition to the sculpts. And I was totally full of BS before. That sculpting tool really made that a hell of a lot easier. So if I add this to the video and remember it, link in the description. But these lines will carry through. And I will probably end up bulking the eyebrows out more. But if they're there and I decide to use them as is, then they're there and I don't have to worry about it. But at this point, that's about all I can do until this dries up. So we're going to let it do that, and then get to working on other sections of the sculpt. Cool. And with that, we don't need to film anymore this evening. I think I bumped a few sections, so I just want to make sure that they are in good shape. I want to hit the inside of this nose with a little bit of the sauce. Otherwise, that's not bad at all. And then we'll see if this clay is the super smooth, but I hope it is, with less water and too much glue. Let's put it in its drying spot, and then we'll work on the other boys. Excellent. It's coming out well. Very, very, very well. And it's 10:14, which is good. So I'd like to be in bed by 11. Crazy eyes is a lot more stable. Perfect. The glue behind his damaged spiral is in great shape. So I'm going to pop off the tape. And then I'm going to reinforce it more. Yesterday's, the older clay, to do that with. Because if it had a weak point once, it'll have a weak point again. And there is zero harm in extra reinforcement. Especially from such a thin section. I'll reinforce the back of that whole eye. And in fact, we're going to do it to both of them. Maybe not that front section, because that's usually an inch thick of clay. Never hurt to reinforce. Okay. And let's build up the stem some more. Because we can. That's some crumbly clay right there. Interesting. Too far with this. Probably a terrible price to be paid for building your stem entirely out of paper clay, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and we'll cross it with lots of epoxy resin. Thinking on which wood to stem anyway, so no big deal if it's ugly in its current form. If I need to, I can drill into it, set a wire, and use the wire as the form. Certainly won't hurt to get under there. School wasn't bad today. School's it was interesting to feel like a substitute in my own classroom because I went back to my old program to assist in the transition of the new person who's taking over my old job. So I didn't actually have to prep anything, but I had to make sure that there were some canned materials available, and I had to watch, give pointers, and all that stuff. And from what the other folks said, that went very successfully. So I didn't have to do a whole lot. It was very, very, very non-stressful. Surprisingly, nay, shockingly so. I'm used to day one being a much more pedantic affair. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Only downside of tomorrow is I have to go to the other campus, which is a 40-minute drive, but it should be one of my final trips to the other campus for quite a long time. If things go to plan. They never go to plan, but I don't feel like being pessimistic. It was too nice of a day for that. This clay was also based on the smooth concept. This one still feels kind of rough. Yeah, tomorrow should be alright, as I'm effectively doing the same thing again, with a different, albeit somewhat more difficult, group of students. Should be fine. Alright. How much clay do we have left? Too much clay. Too much clay. That's okay. I can always just throw it in the tin foil like I did last time. I'm gonna go 100% stress free. But so we're gonna use up the clay that is slightly older. So if it goes funky, no big deal. There's only too much clay if you can't use it all and it starts to get smelly and moldy. Then you can have too much clay. But, meh. This is the older stuff I'm using anyway, so it's fine. The nice thing is with the witchwood on this upper reach, when I press it in, this will go into all the kinks in the witchwood and give me a more stable stem. It's just not going to be a very creative stem. And it's going to be a barely visible stem, so I'm really not going to sweat the little stuff on this one. Hey Bruce, day's going great, honestly. Just having a short little stream tonight. Use up some clay, get another step closer onto the finishing touches for the video. I'm gonna bend it that way a little bit for fun. Let's see if I can start coming over to the side. I feel a cat in my back. Which cat is that? Huh? Oh, huh? What? Oh, I heard a meow. That means it's Majesty. Madge. Meow. Hi, Madge. Yep, that's definitely Madge. Sam doesn't meow like that. Only Majesty meows like that. Madge, your food's in your bowl, sweetie. Hi. Hi. Oh, meow. Meow, you're lucky this hand's clean, cat. Okay. I don't think this face really needs much or slash anything else. Oh my god, this tooth is so much smoother. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that was definitely definitely a thing. Holy crap. So if you want your clay to come out a little smoother, one of the steps is to make sure it's really densely floured. Woo! I definitely would not make a Sphinx out of paper mache. I might do it in foam and then add a paper mache outer coat, but the whole thing would be potentially cumbersome. Let's add this to the front here. Well, I do kind of want that hollow still, so. And no one's going to see these lower teeth anyway. May as well just knock ourselves out and have some fun. Whee! Whee! I'm a dentist! You keep your paste mix thick. Normally the word on the waves is to water it down to the consistency of thin pancake batter. But I think if you want it smoother, you leave it thicker. So you just add less water to your mix that will eventually become clay. And there's two potential factors as to why I think this makes it smoother. The first is that either A, it's the consistency that goes into the clay that works, or B, when you give it a sauce smoothing, there's more flour in the sauce and it finds more gaps and acts more like a filler for a smoother end product. So I would guess one of those two solutions is one of the reasons why that is a little bit smoother with less water, more flour for just a denser clay. Jury's still out, but this tooth is beautiful. It's like just an absolute wall of smooth. This clay that I made today has extra glue and extra flour. So, still experimenting to find the ultimate in clay. And hold your breath, hold your breath, hold your breath. Let the dust die down. Alright, that was still ineffective. So I don't get through all of this clay. I'm putting some of it on the lower back of this guy to act as a bit of a counterweight. I suppose I could put it on his cheeks too. Doesn't really matter. I can fold it back up and just foil. Not doing anything else to you. You're fine, you're perfect, you're lovely. You need stem and then painting. You need grooves in your teeth and a little bit of sanding and smoothing around your eye sections, but otherwise you're pretty goddamn good too. There's nothing to be gained. Well, no. No. Oh, I see it. I see it. I see it now. Thank you. Thank you for telling me, Crazy Eyes. Oh, I didn't see it until you told me. Crazy Eyes said, "Are you really going to let this nose go? What the hell are you thinking?" Are you stupid? I got no nose accent. Thank you, Crazy Eyes, for letting me know. I am really anxious as well. It's going to be super fun to see their final forms emerge. Ooh, pardon. careful. We don't want him looking like a great gonzo, but do need a little bit more nose accent. I don't think he's going to need any more than that, though. It's going to be fine. That's good. Some finger smoothing. Dots. Have a good one, Stevenson. Catch you around. Sculpting. Excellent. Alright, Crazy Eyes also said we should see what it's like if we give him a slight rim on the lower end of his eye. Nothing huge, just a slight cheek rim. Yeah. Good. Yep. That's better. Let's also see what happens. Give it a tiny rim here. Work a whole lot better if it sticks better. Yep. Do one there. Let's do one here too. Won't get anything else there by overworking it. Okay, good. That wasn't clay, thank God. So I just put my thumb in the area I was working on. I might bulk those edges up, but I'll do later. Alright, more for me than anyone else, but that'll do. Anything else I can do with this clay? Reinforce. Yeah, because that's the spot cracked on the other eye. Alright. Alright, now I'm just clutching at straws for things to do with clay, so that means it's time to halt. Let's see. New recipe smoothing clay. Save a wad of. This might be able to be used in another batch. I put a lot of glue in that, so I'd rather not waste it if that's possible. Salt. There's the salt. Salted against mold. Water it against dehydration. Further done. Then cover it. Cool. Hopefully that'll keep for a day. Wunderbar. Alrighty. Let's make sure that's all set. Yep. Alright, and with that, we've unfortunately hit the end of what is doable for this evening. Sadly. I'd love to keep going, but it's almost 11 and I'm going to be up for the long drive tomorrow. Righto, thank you, and thank everybody, or thank you all for hanging out with me on another wonderful evening. And tomorrow, with any luck, that blue light always flashes. It just lets you know that the unit's plugged in. Just so you don't ever have an incident where, I wonder if it's plugged in. Let's stick my hand in there and find it. The blue light's flashing. It's plugged in. Excellent. So again, thank you all for hanging out with me. Really appreciate the company. And have a fantastic evening. We'll keep it spooky until hopefully Saturday. Good night, everybody.